Hey, it's Newt again. This video is about the 2012 Busch Shootout and my thoughts on it. It was a pretty good race. I wish that NASCAR hadn't tried so hard to get rid of the two-car draft. I love the two-car draft. I know a lot of other people didn't like it, but I really don't know what the problem is with the two-car draft. I liked it better. The wrecks were not as big with the two-car draft. With the exception of the Daytona 500, had some pretty massive wrecks there, but a whole lot less pain and suffering of the cars in with the two-car draft than there was with pack racing. I do not like pack racing at all. I wish they'd just bring back the two-car draft, because the two-car draft was to my liking at least. But I'll still watch either way, so it don't really matter. There's a lot of big wrecks in the Budweiser Shootout. Hopefully that's not a preview of what we're going to see in the Daytona 500. I really don't want to see a wreck fest. I want to see a race fest. The first incident started when David Reagan was showing how good he drives and made a mess of things, taking out Michael Waltrip and messing up and a couple other cars that probably could have been good. I can't remember who all. Paul Menard, notably. David Reagan also took out himself. So yeah, I don't know what was going on in David Reagan's head that day. It was just a racing incident, I know, but still, that's why he's not in the 6 car anymore. Sorry, but that's just my opinion. Then other cars like Matt Kenseth, Casey Kane, and a bunch of other people had minimal damage. Denny Hamlin, but still affected their race. At least it did Casey Kane's. Casey Kane never recovered. Kenseth and Hamlin did, though. They were able to come back out. They were doing okay. Hamlin actually finished 5th. Kenseth's night didn't end up so well after that. Because in the second incident, there was a wreck that involved Harvick and Kenseth as well, and it had a Junior, and it had a lot of people. It wasn't a very good night for the Hendrick guys at all. So the one who fared the best out of the Hendrick bunch was Casey, finished 13th. The wreck with Harvick and Kenseth and that was Junior. It was a pretty bad wreck. Truex was also involved. Earlier in the race, Truex spun Boyer, so it was a pretty eventful Budweiser Shootout, no doubt. And the final wreck, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch got taken out. A bunch of other drivers got taken out. Jeff Gordon flipped over, and needless to say, his race was over. Johnson's was over. Kurt Busch's car was destroyed. It was the contact between Kurt and Jeff Gordon whenever they were wrecking that sent Jeff Gordon upside down. I can't really remember whose fault that was, but yeah, it was pretty bad wreck. It's easy to say that the highlight of the race was the end, where it got a little bit rowdy. And what I mean by that is the winner of the race was Rowdy Busch. It looked like Stewart was going to win it because Ambrose and I can't remember who else was pushing. Keselowski, Ambrose and Keselowski and a bunch of other guys were coming. And then Kyle Busch all of a sudden gets behind Tony Stewart, and then they just start taking off, and then the race automatically becomes a two-man race for the win, and it looked like Tony was going to get it, but Kyle just beat him by that much. It was a photo finish. Kyle Busch had a pretty impressive night, but that wasn't just the finish of it wasn't just the way that he won the race that was impressive. It was the save that he did during one of the wrecks. I forgot to mention that during one of the wrecks he almost wrecked, but he saved it. Jimmy Johnson, him and Jimmy Johnson made contact. He slid around on the track, almost wrecked, but he was able to control that car and keep from wrecking. It was probably one of the best performances I've seen by Kyle Busch as long as I've been watching. I mean, it was pretty good. It was pretty impressive. Even the haters were saying that it was impressive. So you gotta believe, you gotta know that Kyle Busch accomplished something whenever his haters are commenting or making good compliments about that. So, big congratulations to Rowdy Busch and his performance. There's a little bit of a dispute between him and Jeff Gordon about that wreck that Jeff was in. Jeff Gordon kind of thinks that it was his fault. I'm not real sure who to side with on that, so I'll just stay neutral on that. Hopefully they'll get it figured out and get it resolved and be ready for the 500. But I missed it. I had to watch the highlights on speed, but it was a pretty good race from what I could tell. I also enjoyed hearing Tony Stewart's comments during when he was talking about Kyle Busch's save. He said that Tony Stewart he made it sound like it was one of the best things in the world, which it most likely was. It was a pretty impressive performance. Again, I love bragging on Kyle Busch. He's one of the best drivers in the sport, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. 2012 is going to be a big year for Rowdy. I believe that he's going to win a lot of races, and he's going to contend for the championship during the chase for once, and maybe win it. But yeah, Tony Stewart did a pretty good job as well during the race. He stayed out of trouble most of the race, and he lost gracefully. So that was one thing that made me happy to see. It was a fun race, no doubt about it. It was fun. RCR didn't really have a very good day, but Hendrick didn't either. Gibbs had a pretty decent day. All their cars did good except for Logano, who was involved in that wreck with Harvick and Truex and Jr. and them others. But it was a good day nonetheless. The Bud Shootout, it's been bittersweet for me in the past, but finally somebody I like wins the race since 2008 when Junior won. But it was a good race, and I'm looking forward to it next year. I never really dread watching the Budweiser Shootout because it's pretty fun to watch. So that's just my opinion, and thank you for listening, and God bless. And ready for the Daytona 500.